From News 4, this is a World Series update.
This is how it looked tonight. A determined team, an enthusiastic crowd. The showdown in Motown is over. The Detroit Tigers have emerged victorious. Hello, everyone. It took 16 years to do it, but the Tigers have done it. They are the 1984 World Series champions.
Are they ever? The Tigers wrapped up the title by beating the San Diego Padres 8-4 before a packed Tiger Stadium tonight.
Rich Make is standing by live outside Tiger Stadium where joyous fans are pouring out. And Rich, I imagine you're witnessing what will be the first of a long night of celebration.
Yeah, I think you're right, Gerald. As you can tell, it is raining heavier and heavier. But take a look down there. You think anybody notices it? I doubt it. There must be 40,000, 50,000 fans down there right now. Some people still trying to make their way out of the stadium right now. Remember back over this year. Remember 11-0. Remember 35-5. Remember that record for consecutive road wins established on the West Coast. They were wonderful days. They were great memories, but they were nothing like tonight. This is a memory that we should savor for right now and cherish forever. Look at them. They're having a terrific time. They're going to be down there for some time to come. I'll tell you, nobody is going to move out of that intersection for quite a while. You can see the crowd really moving up the street, moving west on Michigan Avenue, people who were in the bars down below or whatever, moving up here to be in this intersection, to be a part of this very special moment. You may be back to us, and I can guarantee you we're going to be here for a while.
Looks like everybody's going to be there for a while.
I wish we were there for a while.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Rich.
Okay.
The emotion of the fans can only be matched by that of the winning players. Let's join Al Ackerman in the Tiger locker room now where the champagne corks are popping. You getting wet there, Al?
I think they want us to talk, Lance, and I don't know if we can. Lance, congratulations. I mean, I knew you always talked about the contributions of others, but you wanted to do something offensively. I tell you, when you hit that home run off of Gossett, that has to be one of the great thrills.
Hey, I was so happy just to be able to give us an extra run, a little bit more of a cushion. You know, it probably meant a little bit more. I've never really gotten that many hits off of Goose, but it's just nice to be able to give us a two-run cushion instead of a one-run cushion going into the ninth inning. And
what do you mean a two-run cushion? That run stood up, Lance. It got to be 5-4, as I recall, Lance.
Everybody did something, you know. It wasn't just me. I helped a little bit. I got a home run, big deal, you know. I think everybody in this ball club deserves a lot of credit, and I'm just happy to be a part of it all.
Okay, let's start with Dan Petrie. Dan, I knew you wanted him to win this so bad, but I mean, Sparky had to take him out of there.
Well, he just was having a little bit of problem with his control, and I do feel bad. I wish he would have had an opportunity to win this ball game and stick it out, but the main thing was we did win the game, and I'm sure Danny's just as excited as everybody else. He was not able to hang in there through it all, but, you know, he's a world champion just like the rest of us.
All right, Aurelio Lopez, what a splendid job that man did.
Hey, everybody did a good job. I can't pinpoint everybody. Everybody on this ball club deserves all as much credit as anybody else.
Well, I can pinpoint. I'll say, bless you, boys.
Bless you, boys. Bless you, Al. And you predicted it all right here.
Deborah,
big kiss for Al. He deserves
it. He deserves it. He certainly
Thank
does.
you, Al. Well, thousands of happy Tiger fans are now headed home on wet streets.
Let's find out how wet by talking with Mike Windland, who's now hovering overhead in Air 4. Mike?
It's wet, Gerald and Deborah, but nobody cares. We can almost hear the excitement 1,000 feet in the air, the sound of horns and police sirens. First, let me show you what's going on inside of the stadium. Inside the stadium right now, you see an empty but somewhat desecrated field. The fans, tens of thousands of them, stormed onto the field and began ripping up large chunks of the sod. Hundreds and hundreds of police officers were on there. They tried to protect the diamond itself and did a pretty good job. The only damage is right in front of the pitcher's mound. But the field is going to need extensive work, but they've got until next spring to do that. Outside on the streets, though, it is a different story. About 40,000 to 50,000 people are crowding the intersection of Trumbull and Michigan right now. You can see police bubbles inside the crowd trying to make their way. A few minutes ago, there were people standing and dancing on the rooftops of some of the buses on the street. We see an EMS vehicle down there being pushed back and forth by the crowd. It is actually being rocked by the crowd. And we've heard a number of police calls trying to get some more manpower into the area. At this point, it looks like the crowd is just wildly jubilant. We see no damage. We saw them tossing sod around the stadium. But the rain is keeping a damper on it. It is dispersing them, and amazingly orderly. We're seeing traffic moving out of the stadium area fairly effectively. There's no traffic jams at all on the expressways, with the exception of some of the entrance ramps to the northbound lodge. Tiger Stadium itself is pretty cleared out now. Most of the people are gone. And as far as the crowds on Michigan and Trumbull, well, as Rich Make said a few moments ago, they're going to be jamming those streets for some time. That's it from Air 4 for now. We'll be back as the crowd continues to celebrate the big victory, World Series champs, the Detroit Tigers. Back to you, Deborah and Gerald.
Well, Mike, as we've all just seen, there is pandemonium in Detroit right now. Detroit police say they will try to keep the roadways around Tiger Stadium open as long as possible, but they're not sure as to how long they can guarantee that. Westbound Michigan is already closed from 3rd to Trumbull, so don't try to get anywhere downtown in a hurry tonight. Find some outgoing freeways starting to get somewhat heavy as is traffic heading in towards Detroit, so drive with extra care and watch out for all those happy pedestrians. Gerald, Deborah, back to you.
All right, now let's go to where all the action was just a little while ago. News Force DJ Gallagher is standing by live inside Tiger Stadium. DJ.
Gerald, for the last half hour, it has been mass insanity. This isn't exactly what you'd call another quiet night at the ballpark. Thanks to the Detroit police, I'm still alive to talk about it. The minute the game ended, 52,000 jubilant fans poured out onto the fields. This has been pent-up emotion for the last 16 years. They were determined to make the most of it, have a great time. I have a feeling the party going in here is going to be going on for a while, not quite as long as it will be going outside. From the very beginning, fans never gave up hopes that they were going to win it tonight from inning one. And to the very end, we came across a couple earlier who got married today and spent their first day, their wedding day here at the stadium. We're going to meet them later on during the 11 o'clock newscast. So for now, I'm going to turn it back to you at the studio. One more question. Who's number one?
There is no question. Absolutely. I certainly hope there's some turf left out there at Tiger Stadium. Doesn't look like it.
I wish I had a little square.
Let's go back now to the Tiger locker room. Eli Zarrett is standing by with more from the Tigers.
I'm here in the locker room with the architect of it all, I suppose you could say, Jim Campbell. Is there any way that you can put into words the gratification and the great sense of joy and happiness that you must feel?
Well, I'll tell you, Eli, it's the thing that really pleases me so much is that so many people, so many dedicated people in our organization played a part in putting this group together. Sparky and the players and coaches and our minor league people, people in our front office, and Rick Farrell, Hoot Evers, and Bill LaJoy. I could just go on and name people, but it takes a lot of people with a dedicated effort to put a group like this together, and I just want them to enjoy it.
What was it like the lean years? Even 2-3 years ago, this team was in formation, and yet the belief wasn't around town that would really happen. Deep down, you must have felt it.
Sure, I felt this started. We started really tearing this club apart when Ralph Houck was here, and we brought Trammell and Whitaker and Parrish and Morris and Petrie in, and then Sparky came in and really put the finishing touches on it and gave it his, his trademark. Sparky's just a wonderful guy and a wonderful human being and really a darn good Major League Baseball manager. I think one of the great managers that ever managed in this major leagues of ours.
The type of team you have has really impressed people too, and it becomes corny after a while, but everybody did contribute. You see the little guys come through.
And I hate to be corny about it, and another thing, Eli, the fans play such a part here in Detroit. These baseball fans in Detroit, they don't want silk stockings given away or dishes. They come out here to see a baseball game, and they enjoy it, and they have fun, and they're angry when they lose, and that's the way it should be.
You know, very rare is it that a team can repeat. Of course, after this day on, they're going to say, can the Tigers come back and do it again? It seems to me this is the kind of club that may be balanced enough to do it. It is a great challenge, though, to see if you can actually come back and do it again.
Well, that's true. It's hard to repeat, and these ball players will be the first to tell you. And what we're certainly going to try to repeat, and we hope that we can keep it up.
Jim, thank you very much.
Right,
I appreciate it. And now back to you in the studio, Gerald and Deborah.
Okay, thanks. Eli looks in pretty good shape. I figured he would have got the wrath of that Tiger winning mischief by now.
You're right. Jim Campbell is right. We don't want silk stockings and dishes. Just keep giving us these World Series championships. Believe it or not, there were other big sports stories today. How could you believe that?
Fred Hickman is standing by live in the newsroom with an update. Fred?
Well, how do you follow that act? I don't know, but here goes. There were other sporting events happening in our area today, and among them, a Lions football victory beneath the Silverdome. The Lions really dodged a bullet. Gary Danielson, who didn't start at quarterback but came on when Eric Hipple was injured, threw a 37-yard strike to Leonard Thompson in overtime to win it. It was the Lions' second win of the year against 5 losses and avenges an earlier loss this year at Tampa. Also today, the Detroit Free Press International Marathon, as seen here this morning live on Channel 4. 26 miles from Windsor through the tunnel and into Detroit. Lauren Bant of Brighton was the men's winner. Karen Hubbard was first among the women. She's from Ann Arbor and is a 3-time champion. Marty Ball of California and Jennifer Smith of Kettering, Ohio were the top wheelchair athletes competing. And, of course, there were other things going on today and tonight. Later on this evening, the Red Wings are going to be playing their hockey in Buffalo versus the Sabres, and the Detroit Pistons will play exhibition basketball with the Cavaliers down in Toledo, Ohio. But, of course, the Tigers are champs. That's a big sports story. Back to you, Gerald and Deborah, for more news.
All right.
Thank you, Fred. And let's try to squeeze in one news story. The Ford Motor Company and the United Auto Workers Union have reached a tentative agreement on a new contract. UAW President Owen Bieber says that settlement closely follows the pattern established at General Motors. The tentative contracts would return workers much of that $3.5 billion they gave up in wage and benefit concessions. Business editor Jennifer Moore has been covering the talks, and she'll have a complete report at 11, I promise.
Just want to get in more of that celebrating, huh? Absolutely. The celebrating has really just begun despite all of the rain. Tiger fans are partying in the streets tonight.
Let's go back to Rich Make, who's standing by live outside Tiger Stadium. We're all live tonight, Rich.
Okay, it's the rain slowed down. Anyway, as a matter of fact, just about stopped. The party has not stopped. It is still going on down there. I'm glad to say to you at this point that it looks pretty peaceful. A lot of people are actually, believe it or not, trying to move through this crowd to get down to their cars. There's a solid swarm of people on the street going eastbound on Michigan Avenue right now, too, trying to get to their cars. You can see that some cars are parked in the intersection with drivers undoubtedly sitting in there. They're just not going to get out for a while. People are sitting there and having a good time, celebrating this special night of nights, and they'll be around for a long time, climbing some of the light posts you can see around the area, so they'll be here for a while. As I say, thank goodness right now, it seems to be peaceful. Let's hope it stays like that. Why spoil a beautiful night?
Looks like New Year's Eve out there.
It really does. You think that rain would help police contain the crowds, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
I have a feeling it's going to be crowded when we're on our way home at 11:30 tonight.
You're going home at 11:30? Well, that wraps up our News 4 World Series update.
We'll be following the Tiger stories throughout the evening, and we'll be back tonight at 11 o'clock with complete team coverage of the Tigers clinching of the World Series title. We'll see you then.
Bless you, boys.